All right. Let's cut right to the chase. The Crow 2024. I'm going to review this movie in two parts. One as like its own thing, which is what everybody tells you to do, right? Go into this as its own thing. Don't compare it to the original. Don't compare it to the comic, even though it's called The Crow, based on James O'Barr's work. Fine. And then I'm going to review it as a Crow film, as an entry in the franchise, because as you can see, huge fan. I've been a fan my entire life. I was there at the original opening night, blew me away. I even like some of the sequels. Love City of Angels. Salvation is fun. Wicked Prayer is a bit of a miss, but I can watch it. And I have, of course, the original graphic novel and some of the other comics like Flesh and Blood was really good. But The Crow 2024. Okay. As its own thing, right? Let me just summarize it as its own movie. If you knew nothing about The Crow, I don't know that you'd know what the hell is going on, which is ironic because this movie tries to deviate itself from the source material as much as possible. But I think you need to know the source material to even begin to get involved in this. It's about two drug addicts who meet at a rehabilitation center and break out because the lady in the couple is on the run from a satanic cult who apparently has control of the city, an unnamed city, and their control over the city is never explained. Apparently they own the cops too. None of this has ever gone into how he does what he does, these villains, the Satanist guy. But she's on the run from him because she did something bad. And Eric, in this version, played by Skarsgård, has fallen madly in love with her and runs away with her. And they spend a lot of time in the city partying, doing drugs, right out in the open, which apparently, aren't they supposed to be running? I don't know. Whatever. They're walking down the middle of the streets, high as shit, partying it up. And they eventually get tracked down and murdered by the Satanists' henchmen, very John Wickish type of henchmen. And this is about an hour into the movie this has been going on. So if you saw this in IMAX, which in Rochester it's in IMAX, you watched an hour of a love story in IMAX. And I'm not kidding. With zero action, zero anything other than a really good opening scene, which kind of plays homage to the comic. Good opening scene. Other than that, it is a love story for an hour. And, whether or not they have chemistry is up to you to decide, I would say. None. Zero. These two people have zero chemistry. Brandon Lee and Sophia Shinnis did what they did in Flat. Anyways, I'm focusing on this as a film, right? This couple has zero chemistry. So when they die, you really don't feel anything. This is an hour into the movie. And it becomes very Spawnish from here on out. I would say a John Wick version of Spawn. There's a gatekeeper there that watches over the land of the living and the land of the dead, as kind of like a River Styx-ish type of guy, more or less. And he tells Eric, you can go on or go back and murder these people. And if you murder these people, you can save her. She can live. She can come back to life, right? So about a half an hour of the movie, maybe less, is him just, wandering down the streets, shooting at people randomly, getting run over by cars. Just scattered editing-wise and story-wise all over the place. He gets a tip from some tattoo artist and some random gun. He visits Shelley's mom, which is just a very odd scene. And by the way, while all of this is happening during the half hour that he's undead, he does not seem undead at all. I mean, Brandon Lee looked dead. It's hard to not compare. But this guy, even if you hadn't seen the original, he does not look dead. He looks healthy. He's been taking his vitamins and you know, drinking his protein drinks and eating well. This guy's looking good. His color is good. He looks much better than a lot of the people that I know in shape, you know, in my life. Some of my friends who work out every day. He looks better than them. So he doesn't look undead. So you got about a half an hour of him exacting revenge, right? And within that half an hour, there are only 2 action sequences. And he only has the Crow makeup, if you want to call it, on for one of the sequences. People keep saying, well, he has the makeup on for the final act. No, it's not the final act. It's like the last 15 minutes he puts it on to an Enya song and then walks into an opera house. And even people who like the movie are making a big deal about this opera slaughter. Dude, it is all cut up. The opera slaughter is all cut up. You can't tell what's going on. The whole thing. At first I thought, oh, it's cool. They're going to use the opera as an introductory sort of texture to this big ballet of a gore fest. No, the whole thing is cut in with this opera. The whole sequence. It's like maybe 7 to 10 minutes. A couple of mildly interesting CG sword kills. And then there is, I guess what you'd call an end showdown with the villain, although it's not a showdown. There's no fight. It's a bunch of the villain whispering softly in the hero's ear. I'm not kidding. The villain whispers softly in the hero's ear. And that's the end confrontation. He punches the villain in the face a few times. And the villain gets sucked into some black oil shit. And that's the end of the movie. And I guess, you know, it's supposed to be suspenseful whether or not he saves Shelley, whether or not he brings her back. Well, spoiler alert, what do you think happens? Think it's going to end with them both in hell? I mean, not only that, let's say it was executed well. Let's say, okay, you care what happens. You care that he saves her. You care that somehow, for whatever reason, he brings her back, which is done, by the way, incredibly stupid. The final scenes of this movie are so stupid. But let's just say that you're into it. That like, you want to know what happens. Obviously, he's going to say, what do you think? I mean, you don't find out that he's supposed to save her until towards the end of the second act. Oh my God. Okay, I'm ranting. This movie's garbage. It's absolute garbage. There are a few good moments, and those moments are the moments that try to be Crow-esque. Like there's a Joy Division song when they break out of the rehabilitation center. The Crow is Joy Division. Joy Division is the Crow. You know, they're symbiotic. That was awesome. Like I said, the opening scene with the white horse and the barbed wire directly from the comic. Dialogue from awesome. That was all great. There are a couple little freckles here and there that you can go and pick out. And overall, man, it's just a bad movie on its own. Now, as an entry in the Crow series, like as a Crow film, this is insulting from top to bottom. Just on every level, this is a middle finger to the fans. And that's not an exaggeration. Let's just say, for instance, Eric Draven in the original is vehemently anti-drugs, right? That's part of his mission. In fact, he saves a lead character in one scene from her addiction. It's a major plot point, a major character element. To turn his character into a drug addict? Are you, like, why? Why? What is the point there aside from to desecrate something? There's no point to that. Aside from to take an easy way out. Oh, he broods because he does drugs. And what is the point of doing a Crow movie if you can save I mean, what's the point? They never explain why he's supposed to kill these people. This gatekeeper's just like, put the wrong things right and you can save her. The wrong things right? He's just massacring henchmen left and right. I mean, it's not implied he saves the city like Eric or even Ash in the second one. It's not implied that. There's no goal to his mission aside from mow a bunch of people and save the soul of a drug addict. And by the way, these people didn't like life that much. Why would they come back? Why would these characters be given the gift of resurrection? They're scumbags, both of them. Both of them are complete loser jokes. I will tell you this. Wicked Prayer is better than this film. This might be better than what's the television show, Stairway to Heaven. That was pretty atrocious. I don't know. This is pretty bad. I mean, this is, as a Crow product, this is bad. As a film, it's the worst movie of the year. Maybe not quite as bad as Madam Web, but just as boring. I mean, just as boring. It's just got a little bit more blood. I won't say I'm disappointed because I knew I wasn't going to like it. I'm just appalled as how incompetent it is as its own film. I gave it a shot as its own film. If you want this to work as its own film, you have to really get into the dilemma here that he has to save her and bring her back to life. Bring Shelley back to life. His drug-addicted girlfriend who has butchered somebody, literally. She's a murderer. And he has to bring her back to life. And now, if you can get into that, if you care about what happens, or if you think somehow he's not going to save her, maybe this movie's going to work for you on some bizarre level. Thumbs down. The lead villain's name is Rogue. Fucking Rogue.